host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace. We do that through all types of great interviews with doctors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, self-defense experts, and home service providers. Lots of ways we can help you be that consumer advocate for you, but it's up to you to reach out and engage with us. 727-263-3707 is the hotline. We had an uptick in calls last week. Appreciate you reaching out. It's always great to speak to you and have that relationship with our audience here in Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida. 727-263-3707. You can call or text that line. And, of course, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form right there from the website, consumerqb.com. We got Gary Barbosa in the house as well, Dr. Gary Barbosa, that is. He's the owner, Advanced Medical of Tampa Bay, and he's online at coronaryarteryrestoration.com. We're going to talk a lot about health today on the program. Hormone, testosterone replacement, peptides, weight loss, osteoporosis are all things that Dr. Gary Barbosa is going to talk about here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We also have Alex Lima in studio, black belt fitness and martial arts. We're going to talk about self-defense, this open southern border, and some of the other crime that's happening out there, and how you, more importantly, how you can defend yourself and your family when it comes to those situations. So we got a great lineup for you here on the program today. We always like to feature our real estate properties live on air. As you know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top-ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we help our sellers sell faster for more money by featuring our listings in ways no other real estate company can. We're daily programmed right here on 4 o'clock drive time, 860 The Answer, also 93.7 FM, and then we've got our weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone. That's Sunday mornings. All right, so we've got a hot listing here at 3704 Burger Road in Lutz, Florida. This is a beautiful mansion that we've got listed. We got 10,000 square foot home, 10 bedrooms, 12 baths. You got no CD or HOA. We have an indoor pool with a full bar and an oversized deck. Just a gorgeous home up in the north part of Tampa Bay, Lutz, Florida. Full tennis court, library, movie theater, sauna, 2 master suites, a grand balcony, and more on this beautiful property in Lutz, Florida. This is a gorgeous estate-style home in beautiful Lutz, Florida. We also have another home that we've got listed, very motivated seller on Edgewater Beach Drive in Lakeland, 1312 Edgewater Beach Drive. 3,000 plus square feet. This is 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. You got a 2-story home on Lake Parker. So bring your boat, bring all your jet skis and your toys, and no HOA here at this home. Wood-burning fireplace in the living room. Beautiful pool, deck, and fire pit. This is move-in ready, guys. Beautiful home, Edgewater Beach Drive in Lakeland, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's right. Shout out to our troops, our veterans, everybody out there serving this great country. We greatly appreciate you. Quick shout out as well to Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Replenish IV Solutions. I love going in once a month, getting my Myers cocktail, so to speak, that vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream. Say hello to Steve and Lisa Gunnan, Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, Dr. Gary Barbosa, welcome back in, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Good to see you again, and we appreciate you coming in. And these are some really interesting topics. I love that, this cutting edge of medicine, and you've been in the medical industry for quite some time now, so you've probably seen some changes from the beginning of your career to now. Here we are, and technology's moving so fast, and the medical industry's changing.
Absolutely, and I'm really blessed to have a board-certified cardiologist of 16 years with us. And her philosophy was she got sick and tired of treating the symptoms and wanted to treat the disease. Yeah. And she had actually terminated her place of employment. It gave her notice prior to meeting us. And then when she met us, she's like, "You're doing exactly, you are why I quit, because I want to treat the disease. I just don't want to treat people after they get sick and then they're too far gone to help. And the disease is not being addressed. And a lot of what medicine does today doesn't address the disease, but that's not the way the program's structured. Right. Everything's structured around reimbursement. How do you get paid? Well, you have to have a diagnosis of some kind of malady or illness in order to get paid by insurance, and that gets the whole ball rolling. But by that time, you're already down the hill. Yeah. You want to attack this before you start rolling down the hill and approach points of no return or ill health or shorten your lifespan.
Yeah. Preventative measures, things that you can do to be natural, holistic in some senses, and yeah, because you hear the stories about the $80 aspirins from the hospitals or whatever it might be, right? I mean, so now with the insurance, the way everything's set up, it goes through this whole bureaucracy, and you end up paying absorbent amount for an aspirin or whatever the examples might be, right?
Well, you could prevent a lot of the illnesses and sicknesses and diseases. 90% of all sicknesses and diseases are preventable if you take steps now while you're young and you're healthy. You prevent the onset of plaque in the arteries or dementia or Alzheimer's. Dementia and Alzheimer's is basically a byproduct of carbohydrate metabolism. You're eating carbohydrates, and eventually the metabolite of the carbohydrates is what causes your deposition of plaque in the brain, and you eventually get Alzheimer's and dementia. And we got off with carbohydrates.
Really?
We'd have a tremendous improvement in health.
So is that simple
long-term.
like the simple carbohydrates, the white breads, or is it the complex carbs too?
Right.
All of it?
If we were all vegan, which I don't think we're going to be anytime soon, but if we were, or we shifted more to the vegan side or the vegetarian side, those are different. Vegan is different than vegetarian. You'd have a tremendous improvement, and the body will heal itself. The body wants to live. It wants to go on. It doesn't want to succumb to old age. And certainly, when you look at somebody in the 80s, late 80s, and their entire upper body's nothing more than a skeleton.
Right.
I look at guys like that. I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
Right.
I don't want to go down like that.
Exactly.
Most men want to go out fighting in some form or fashion.
Yeah. That's right.
So you want to keep your hormones optimized with testosterone and growth hormone in order to get your body into a place that it was optimum when you were like 25, 30.
Yeah.
When you go to a doctor and they look at your labs and they say, well, you're good for your age. That's when you need to walk out and come to other doctors who are like, no, you're not good for your age. We don't want you to be good for your age. Good for your age is you're already heading downhill.
Right.
Good for your age is not good.
Yeah.
What you want to be is really good for your age, or this is not normal for your age. You want your testosterone up mid-range. You want your growth hormone maintained as you age, because those are the two things that drop like a rock as you get older. Every decade or every year you lose more testosterone generation and more growth hormone.
Yeah.
Between testosterone and growth hormone, both for men and women, it can revitalize and keep the body healthy. I mean, growth hormone is the youth hormone. That's what keeps everything young, keeps everything revitalized, keeps the elasticity in the skin, keeps blood flowing everywhere, repairs damage from athletic activity, which you should be doing often.
Right.
In both men and women. So I'm not saying testosterone is only for men. I'm saying it's also necessary for women as well.
Right. Yeah. And that's that's kind of a counterintuitive point that a lot of people don't realize, right, Gary?
Right. Yeah, they think, oh, well, testosterone is only for men. No, it's for women as well. Some women who have low testosterone, that will also affect their libido as well.
Right.
So low testosterone in women is lack of libido. And some of the doctors say, well, again, the lab is good for you as a woman at your age. Well, that's not going to change or get you back to where you were when you were 25, 30 years old.
Yeah, if you have a traditional doctor that's been doing the same thing for 35, 45 years, they're going to have a different mindset as someone that's more innovative than, for example, Dr. Gary Barbosa here that we're talking to, Advanced Medical Tampa Bay, coronaryarteryrestoration.com. Right, Gary? I mean, so you have different schools of thought in the medical profession.
And what you have to understand is we're all human beings, and human beings will tend to get acclimated and be lazy over time.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many physicians just doing the same thing over and over and over and over. They're on the treadmill, they're generating the money, they're going home, they're having a life.
Yep.
But they're really not reading the medical journals, they're not keeping up on things. There's no incentive for them to think outside the box.
Right.
And that's what we're all about. We're thinking outside the box all the time.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new ways. I have one physician who's with us, an MD, he volunteered to be with us just because he wants to keep us abreast of all the new developments worldwide. We're not talking just U.S.
Wow, that's
We're
cool.
talking worldwide.
Yeah.
And for example, I think we mentioned this last time, in Japan, they do IV drips, high doses of vitamin K in order to pull the calcium out of the organs and the bloodstream and put it into the bones for women to combat osteoporosis.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
we may be doing something like that in the future. We're not there right now. We use oral vitamin K as a very important supplement for both osteoporosis in women, but also to pull the calcifications out of the vessels, the coronary arteries, and the organs. The
Yeah.
calcification does nobody any good unless it's inside the bones.
Yeah, you bring up a great point too. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Dr. Gary Barbosa. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and the balance. Right, I remember getting one of my blood profiles done, and I wanted to look at micronutrients, and they said, oh, well, you're low in vitamin D, and it was, and there was a couple others, right? But there's a balance there, and if you're taking a certain supplement, you got to make sure you add the other supplement, like I think it's D3, K2. There's all these different combinations that are very important.
And that's very important for our anti-aging program. Our anti-aging program is a step above our coronary artery restoration program. It requires a little more. And our coronary artery restoration program is pretty much the Cadillac. The anti-aging program is like Cadillac on a supercharger, because you really have to have a little more to really dramatically affect the aging process. Now, once we get people to where they need to be on the basis of reducing the cholesterol, reducing triglycerides with the statins, we need the statins, they're necessary evil.
Yep.
We have a professor of nutrition from a local, very notable university here in Tampa Bay, and we're going to use the statins to get you where you need to be, and our nutritionist is going to get your nutrition where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So then we can start backing off the statins.
Right.
But there's no way you're going to have a normal American diet, eating what we all normally eat, without statins, if you're not going to make a huge dietary change.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things you can do, and it's a very complex body, right, that we have. All these different organs, these different pieces coming into play. We bring on different, like, for example, even just something as simple as our water. We have Fred DeFelice with waterscience.us. He's our water quality expert. The air that we breathe in. We talk to our different, contractors on the show, one that actually checks for mold in the homes. Think about the air that we're breathing. I mean, there's a lot of different attacks on the body, and, it's up to us to take care of the nutrients and the feed it the right materials and vitamins.
You're going to have to use everything we have in our armamentarium to counter the environmental damage that you just encounter every day on a daily basis, which is normal in our society. You're not going to get around it. I'm glad you mentioned water, because water is really important to have water with a basic pH, which means less, more than 7.0. You want to be 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. You know how I test my water is really simple. Everybody listening, if you want to do something really simple, it's so simple it's ridiculous. Take your pH meter that you use in the pool, and put your tap water in it, or put your filtered water in it that's coming through your filters, whatever you have in your home, and see what the pH is of the water you're drinking.
Right.
Real simple test. Costs nothing. Just do for the pool, do for your drinking water what you're already doing for your pool water.
That's interesting.
And you can see where you're at.
Right.
And that's a good metric right there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you look at, I remember going back to a Tony Robbins event back in 2009, and I walked on the fire. I did the whole fire walk thing. But he went through his nutrition talk, and I didn't realize, the effects of and the importance of monitoring the acidic versus the basic, right? The different, of course, sugars, sugary Coca-Colas, but I can't stand that company for many reasons now. But, they're feeding all of these people, these Americans, especially kids, they drink this soda. It has something like 20 teaspoons of sugar in one can of Coke. I mean, they're killing kids. They're causing all these disease, and then they wanted to come out with their anti-whiteness thing last year, which is crazy through their corporation. But yeah, companies like that. But that's the extreme of acidic. If you're going to drink 4 or 5 Cokes a day, your body's acidic.
And glad you brought that up. There's a place in Mexico that has a Coke factory, and the water quality is so bad there that all they drink is Coca-Cola.
Wow.
And everybody in that town, it's a small town somewhere in Mexico, everybody in that town has diabetes. 100%. Everybody, kids, women, children.
I believe it.
Everybody has diabetes because all they're drinking is sugar.
Jeez.
And that's just going to blow up the pancreas.
That is
the pancreas
unbelievable.
just can't handle it.
Exactly. Yeah, because I want to break. We got to break on that point. But when we come back, talk to me about what happens when you ingest sugar, because that's a killer cycle that comes into play because you're boosting. We're going to come back with that more with Dr. Gary Barbosa here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's with Advanced Medical of Tampa Bay, coronaryarteryrestoration.com. More with Dr. Gary coming up here on the flip side of this break. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Call Brandon today at 1894.
All right, and we're back. Dr. Gary Barbosa in studio, Advanced Medical of Tampa Bay. I want to talk to him about the sugar cycle. I want to ask him, what the sugar cycle is, because that was such an interesting story about the Mexican town that has all of that diabetes. But before we do, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. We got some vacant land. We sell commercial properties, vacant land, and of course residential. But this one's in Cortez Boulevard in Brooksville, 16188 Cortez Boulevard in Brooksville. This is a new listing. We just listed this property. It's 1.37 acres, prime location to build your business. Great opportunity for retail, dining, and other properties. You can also do it's excellent visibility and exposure for the area on Cortez Boulevard in Brooksville, the ever-growing Hernando County, Pasco County. Great area up there. 2817 Gulf City Road. That's one of my favorite listings also. This is 23 acres. This is perfect for a builder-developer. 23 acres on the waterfront, and you have access to Tampa Bay from Gulf City Road there in Ruskin, Hillsborough County. 2817 Gulf City Road. 23 acres on the waterfront. Build some townhomes, build some condos, and potentially boat docks there. Buy some dirt.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
All right, Dr. Gary, tell us a little bit about this sugar cycle when you're ingesting these, different snacks, candies, colas, whatever it might be.
Yeah, sugar actually, if you pour sugar on a surface and you let it dry, it's sticky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. Well, the same thing happens in the bloodstream. As you process sugar, whether it be from high sugar foods, whether it be from refined carbohydrates, which is also turned into sugar, like the white bread will be turned into sugar.
Yeah.
A lot of things the body will turn into sugar.
Right.
Not as much with vegetables or vegan diet. Most of that will not be turned into sugar, but some vegetables can be turned into sugar. But the more your sugar content, you can actually see a blackness around the red blood cell with a microscope, and that's sugar. The sugar makes everything sticky. Not only your countertop when you spill it, let it dry,
Yep.
but also your blood vessels.
Right.
It'll make red blood cells and other blood components stick to the vessel walls.
Wow.
And that helps with the plaque development.
Right. That's
So
not good.
sugar is definitely an enemy. I want to go back to water a little bit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Water, due to fossil fuels, not that I'm an advocate for everything being electric, but that's usually the electricity for that is created by fossil fuels. But in any event,
Right.
we have acidic rain problem.
Right.
And the acidic rain problem is making all of our water acidic, not only in the surface, but also in the ground. When that acidic rain drips through to the ground, acidic rain dissolves limestone. Limestone is what makes up the majority of Florida, and that's where you get sinkholes from.
Yeah.
So acidic rain is a problem, and it's also creeping over into our water supply. So the water you get from the tap, as it's coming into your home, you really should check the acidity of the water, and you should check the contaminants. We were talking off air about chlorine.
Yep.
This, again, I mentioned before, you can take your pool test and test for chlorine and test for the pH of water just using your pool test at home. It's really not sophisticated, and you get a good idea of where your water supply is at home.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're thinking about health and you're thinking about, hey, maybe I'm trying to get some weight loss down, maybe I'm trying to lose some weight, or maybe I know somebody that's dealing with osteoporosis. We want you reaching out to Dr. Gary Barbosa here, Advanced Medical of Tampa Bay. Pick his brain, talk to him, go to the clinic and meet with him. CoronarryArteryRestoration.com. And so we talked about a little bit about hormone replacement, weight loss, and then anti-aging. What else are you seeing out there?
Well, osteoporosis, of course, we talked about that as well. We're using vitamin K therapy and other nutritional therapies to try to harden the bones back and get that back. And growth hormone takes a piece of that as well. I mean, we're going to get the women increase their growth hormone, and that will make the bones harder.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a density test on my bones because I've been using growth hormone stimulators, peptides,
Peptides.
for years, and my bone density is off the chart. It's like the Wolverine adamantium skeleton. It's just rock hard.
I like
the bones are just nuts.
That's cool.
But the other thing we do is libido too, a little bit for the benefit of our patients. We have a peptide which is 7 amino acids called PT-141. It was actually developed to give people an artificial tan by injection.
Wow.
And just like Viagra was created for blood pressure, and they found out, it does something else, PT-141 developed to give you a tan by injection, that gives everybody a boost in libido, and it's actually FDA approved for the treatment of libido in women.
Okay.
But by
That's
the way, it
interesting.
also works on men.
Okay.
So it's called the Hollywood shot.
Wow.
I call it my weekend party shot.
There you go.
Because if you get it, if you give yourself a subcutaneous injection, which is like a diabetic insulin needle,
Right.
on a Friday, you're good to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
There you go.
So I call it the party shot.
There you go. Yeah. Increased libido.
Increased libido, and
Yeah.
it's just a peptide. It's 7 amino acids.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like a major pharmaceutical drug that's going to change something or have an adverse effect.
Right.
Just 7 amino acids combined in an appropriate way, called PT141. We uniquely have it at the clinic.
Yep.
Not many people are using it, and we think it's a great little compound to add a little spice to life.
And is it also so it's going to increase blood flow? It's going to increase your metabolic rate, things of that nature.
Well,
too?
not really. It doesn't have that kind of an effect, but it's not that powerful to have that kind of an effect. What it does is inadvertently increase your libido, and long-term side effect is you are going to have a tan.
Oh, wow.
You're going to get a little bit of a tan.
That's interesting.
Over maybe a year, 2 years of using it occasionally, you'll get a little bit of a tan, which is what it was designed for.
Are you getting a Trump tan? Little bit of the orange man thing?
No.
Or are you getting a regular tan?
we hope the orange doesn't happen.
Yeah, there you go.
That's only for Florida Gators, orange and blue.
Okay, there we go. All right, well, 30 seconds back to you, Doc. How do you want folks to connect with you?
Well, go to our website, go to coronaryarteryrestoration.com, look up what we do. You can schedule an appointment. You can ask for more information. We want your feedback. We want to help you increase your health span. We may not be able to increase your lifespan, which is a total separate issue, but you want to be healthy as long as you can and free of disease for as long as possible.
Yeah.
That's the key to a happy life.
That's right. Yeah,
A happy
absolutely.
life is free of disease, living healthy at your optimum physical state.
Happy life, happy wife. That probably plays into it too.
Most likely.
There you go. All right, Doc. Well, good chatting with you here again. Go to coronaryarteryrestoration.com. Dr. Gary Barbosa, always a pleasure having you in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Alex Lima in studio. We're going to talk about self-defense, protection, home protection, protecting yourself, and also some of these current events happening out there here in Tampa Bay. And visit us online, consumerqb.com. We'll be right back.